let's get your hands dirty. So in this module, we're going to be creating a custom conversion audience, and we're also going to be creating a custom audience with something like an email list. So if you remember, a custom conversion is a custom pixel event on your website that can also be optimized for with the conversion objective. So what that means in plain English is that if you create a custom conversion, then you can basically have Facebook track people who have completed some kind of behavior on another website, like your website, or maybe within your app. And the reason that that is important is that when you're using the conversion objective, which is something that we're going to get into later in the course, you can tell Facebook, optimize the way that you deliver this ad to match people who are a lot like the people who have already completed this custom conversion event. That's very powerful for scaling your ads and for getting those conversions towards the end of your funnel. So after you've already brought in people, you're getting some awareness, but when you want people to convert. So how do we create a custom conversion event? Well, so you're going to go up to the Events Manager, Measure and Report, and then underneath the Events Manager, we're going to go to Custom Conversions. All right, now we want to make sure that we're in the correct ad account, which we are. And then let's create a custom conversion. And the easiest way to create a custom conversion from my perspective is using the URL traffic option. So up here, this URL traffic, there are some other options, but URL based conversions are really straightforward. So how does this URL based targeting work? Well, for example, I'm going to switch over here to this other tab. So you're going to see here that this is the page where somebody can complete a purchase on Easel's course website, right? And so this is basically that they've added this to their cart. All they need to do is enter their checkout information and then pay and enroll in the course. So the important thing that I want you to see here is that here is the URL associated with this behavior. So for example, this checkout is a URL element that we could use, or maybe this number. And so when we go back to this custom conversions event, we can do things like say any URL that contains the word checkout. And then when we go to the category option, we can select the category as add to cart. And then now we can just name it. And optionally, you can add a description. And let's get into a couple of other options. So now if you're going to create a purchase event, then you need to create that URL targeting up here, and then you're going to change this option to purchase, and you can also assign values to your purchases if that's helpful for your business. Obviously, you can track that stuff internally, but you can also have Facebook track that stuff as well so that you can tabulate how much Facebook basically predicts you are getting in terms of value for your conversions. And let's build in an additional element of your skills here, which is additional targeting. So you see here that this is only one rule up here, but let's add another rule. So for example, let's say that the must also match that the URL doesn't contain something like career hacking. So if we take this element of the URL, and then we go back here and we say doesn't contain career hacking. So now we're getting people that have gone to add something to their cart, but it wasn't that particular course. So that's the way that we create a URL-based custom conversion event. And note that you're going to need a minimum of roughly 500 to really more like 1,000 conversions for Facebook's optimization engine to be meaningful around your conversion event. All right, so you just learned how to create a custom conversion. Now let's create a custom audience from your website traffic. And there are a couple of ways to do this, and I'm going to show you the one based on your pixel area of your Facebook for Business infrastructure. And before we move on, remember, a custom audience is a Facebook audience built through pixel event triggers or by matching Facebook data with your data, like an email list. So let's focus on creating a custom audience from pixel triggers. Remember, you can follow along with me in the study guide with step-by-step instructions for everything that I'm doing so that you can do this along with me. So where we're going to be, we go to Menu, and then under the Events Manager, we're going to click on Pixels, and then we're going to click on the right pixel. And then we're going to click on create custom audience. And then there are many options here, but let's use this visitors by time spent. And we're just going to leave it at the top 25% in the last 30 days. And again, there's some additional options here as well. And then we're going to name our audience something like top 25% engaged audience, and then we would create it, but I've already created a similar audience, so I'm not going to actually do that. But that's how you're creating a custom audience based on activity on your Facebook pixel. All right, now let's move to another area, your final element, the skill that you're building here in this module, which is creating an audience from something like a customer file. So this time we're going to be working under the menu, assets, audiences option. And then let's click create audience, and we're going to create a custom audience. And we're going to select from a customer file. And you're going to notice that there's a couple of options here. The one that's probably used more often is basically that you upload something. So essentially what we're going to do is add customers from your own file or copy and paste data. And then here you're just going to be uploading an export of your email list. And we've already done something similar, so I'm not going to do that right now. And then if you are connected with MailChimp, because you're using MailChimp for email marketing, then obviously this is a way to make it maybe a bit easier. So you just go here to import from MailChimp. You're going to have to log into MailChimp, and then you can basically use your MailChimp lists automatically to import those into Facebook. And then Facebook will match the users that have an email address on your email list with the people who use the same email address for their Facebook or Instagram profiles. And I'm just going to make a quick note here that with increasing internet privacy, you're going to have to accept terms of service that you basically agree that you have people's actual permission to contact them. And this is related to new data security laws, privacy laws happening in many places across the world. So let's just wrap up this with how to view your audiences. So if we just kind of X out of all this here and we go back to our asset library, audiences, which is where we are now. So I'll just click on that. All right, so now you're going to see the different audiences that you have. And I'm just going to show you here that you can customize your columns, and you might want to customize especially by size sometimes, so that you can see how many people are in a particular audience, because the minimum audience size that you can promote to is about 1,000 users, but you probably want a lot more than that. So anytime that you're creating these audiences, your filters must be broad enough so that you're bringing in around 1,000 plus people into a particular audience so that they can actually be useful.